Hey, Forrest here. Nothing like getting paid. And with ICCU's mobile app, I can deposit checks or accept Zelle payments so the money hits my account fast. I just wish there was an app for mowing the rest of these lawns.
Right now, Lithia Ford of Boise is buying used vehicles. How much you want for the SUV?
I don't know.
Well, Lithia Ford will give you more than that.
How much more?
More than you think.
I'm not thinking anything.
I'm thinking you might get even more than that. See how much more you can get at Lithia Ford of Boise.
When it comes to concrete, we've got you covered. RowPaint.com offers custom concrete coating services for your garage, business, warehouse, and more. And we do it in one day. We are your complete concrete coatings solution.
It's time for the Lithia Ford of Boise Postgame Show from Bronco Nation News. We're breaking down the game with highlights, interviews, analysis, and most importantly, you. Give your thoughts on the game in the YouTube chat or Facebook comments, and we'll include the best ones on the show. Check out LithiaFordBoise.com to view their full inventory of vehicles, or check them out at 8853 West Fairview in Boise. Today's broadcast is coming from the Cutwater Spirits Canned Cocktail Studios. Check out one of their more than 30 flavors of pre-mixed premium cocktails at your local gas station or grocery store. Now let's head out and join BJ Rains for the Lithia Ford of Boise Post-Game Show from Bronco Nation News.
Hey, how we doing, Boise State fans? I guess I can say it was after a win. It was a win for the offense, 56-25. We're here on the Lithia Ford of Boise post-game show. Kind of a fun, just happy hour here at the James. We're going to hear from Andy Avalos. John Mallory is going to come by. Mike Prater is going to stop by. Colin Mitchell is here. Who knows who's going to stop by, but nice crowd on hand. It's packed inside, but it's a nice afternoon. We're out here on the James, so sorry we were a little bit late. The game ended late, and then it took a while for Coach Andy Avalos to do his press conference, but we're here, and we're happy to talk Boise State football with you, have a drink or two. We'll be on for, anywhere from 45 minutes to an hour. We'll see how things are going, what we got to talk about, what questions you have. If you're at the game, we'd love to hear from you. Let us know your thoughts on the spring game. I saw Washington, I think, call it a spring outlook or something, or probably a little better term. I mean, it was a scrimmage, but it wasn't necessarily a game today. They did some different things, 2-minute drill, some specialty periods. But, again, 56-25 is the final score. They did kind of a modified scoring system, but the offense gets the win today as and it's not the final practice. I guess they actually have a practice on Tuesday to wrap things up. So this was practice number 14 today here for the Boise State football team. We are at the James Kitchen and Bar. It's a tremendous spot. We were here for all of our post-game shows this season. We love the James. We appreciate Barry, the full staff, Perry, everybody for taking care of us here at the James. We are very appreciative for them allowing us to kind of crash the party here. And you can see the stadium in the background. Look how big that scoreboard is in the back view here. But it's an awesome spot. If you haven't been to the James, come on down. The patio is a great spot. And we're having a lot of fun here at the James. They have a full cocktail menu, all kinds of cool stuff. So we're having a great time at the James. We have some highlights we're going to show. John Mallory is going to join us here shortly. Here, move this thing, Colin. We're going to have Johnny join us here in just a second. The great John Mallory is getting ready to sit down and join us. And while he does that, here's a 21-second promo for the BNN golf tournament.
What's up, y'all? It's RJ Keenan and Tyson Degenhart. We'll be coming out here at Timberstone June 2nd for the Bronco Nation News golf tournament. We're trying to raise money for the Idaho Sports Commission, and we want y'all here. It's going to be a fun day of golf. It's going to be beautiful weather and great people. Some of our coaches are going to be there too, special guests. For more information, sign up for BroncoNationNews.com, and we'll have a great time. See you there.
Well, this guy will be there, hopefully in tennis shoes, not flip-flops like last year's golf tournament. But, I forgot to turn his mic on here. Can you, Johnny?
I cannot hear anything right now.
You should be able to. Come on, say something.
There we go.
Right.
Oh, no.
Too loud?
Yeah. Oh.
Is that good? Is that good?
I don't think anybody can hear me.
Yeah, we can. We hear you fine.
I can't hear myself, but
Johnny, why can he not hear himself?
It's like, okay. Nope. Better. I hear that. Yeah, that works. Thanks, guys. What's going on?
We had it perfect, Johnny.
Technical difficulties again from BNN.
Johnny just wanted to be difficult here. I see how
what's going on here?
I see how it is. You're trying to be difficult.
This is crazy.
But
spring game.
Spring
Love
game.
it.
Your thoughts? I had to ask what the final score was. It was 56-25. The offense wins over the defense. Your initial impressions?
If you're just going to talk about the actual game, okay, like what you saw, X's and O's on the field, I think Andy Avalos, who I assume you'll get to here in a bit with his press conference, I thought he hit the nail on the head, BJ. The defense didn't tackle well. And I think that was the number one storyline for me for this spring game was the offense had its way with the defense. All three quarterbacks who played, actually four quarterbacks played, the main three all played very efficient football. I don't believe there was a turnover in the entire game, which was huge for the offense and not big for the defense. You want to force a turnover or two in these things. Everybody's a little rusty. And Ashton Jeanty is my MVP. 167 yards on 5 touches. I mean, he was not stoppable. A little bit, obviously, due to the defense, as Andy said, they didn't tackle well enough. A couple of those big Jeanty splash plays, BJ, I don't think would have happened if the tackling was better.
Yeah.
Like if Boise State's not going to make that
The
tackle
75
defensively
yard,
this year,
yeah.
they are in a ton. They're in a ton of trouble if they can't do that. So
we got a lot of comments on the screen here. They said you went silent for a second. So is he silent? Is Johnny silent? Let us know if you can
guys.
hear it. Let us know if you can hear it. It looks like everything should be good on Johnny's end.
That was such a gem of
I don't know. I think maybe
a line, too.
We should be fine. No, they heard you. I think we're fine. But overall, Ashton Jeanty, you mentioned him, and you've been a guy that's been very high on Ashton Jeanty ever since the bowl game. You think that Ashton Jeanty could rush for more yards than George Helani? You think that he could be the starting featured back on this team?
I think he's your best back, and I think he's more reliable, and I think he's more trustworthy right now. He's available. And George, here we are again, whatever the reason is, we all love George, but he's not 100% available. And here he is again. He's not playing in spring ball. He's not playing in the spring game. And Ashton Jeanty needs 5 touches to get $167 and 3 teeters on those 5 touches. 3 touchdowns. That's a Superman-like performance today in the spring game. He's my MVP. And the real quick, I got to throw in Prince. Okay.
Well, I was going to get to him, but go for it.
Yeah.
Very impressive.
What were you getting with?
Well, no, just he was a standout we heard about all spring, and he had that nice 41-yard catch, and he looked the part today.
He's big. He's fast. He's
look at
smooth.
it. We got a special delivery on air here for John Mallory. Look at this. The Manhattan.
That's my boy Mitch.
We appreciate Ken Mitchell. Look at that, man.
Hooking me up
the
with
best
the
Manhattan in town, right?
Here at the James. That's a terrific.
I can't even get a drink, and I employ his son. But
it's a terrific Manhattan they make here at the James. Is it Strahan? I don't know
Strawn,
how to say
Strawn,
the name.
Strawn. Yep, Prince Strawn.
Prince Strawn.
Yep.
I know the famous Prince was the man in purple, right? Purple Rain. This kid might turn into Blue Rain.
I saw you write that down. I saw you write that down. You thought you were trying to be pretty clever with that.
That's his new nickname. It's going to be a Blue Rain on the blue with Prince Strawn. This boy looks good, man. And I know the coaches are saying it. Wait till you hear what Andy Avalos says about Prince Strawn in the post-game press conference right here on BNN. Very complimentary. The guy showed up in January, and there's 3 or 4 guys on the team that I say have a better body than him physically. One of those guys, I think he's an Alex Guerrero get. Yeah. I think that's going to be a massive get. He was very impressive, not just during the game, but in practice, in the warm-ups. I took a lot from the warm-ups today too, BJ. I think there was a lot of takeaways from a spring game. Typically, there probably aren't, but I left today pretty excited about it.
What'd you think of Talon Green? He was 9 of 20, 176 yards, a long of 75 on that. Is that mine? Perfect. There we go. But Green, I thought he was fine. We didn't really get to see the running ability too much. 5 for 29 because he was not being able to be tackled. But
that's what's weird about it. The eval of a quarterback on a spring game. Like Talon wants to use his feet, but in a spring game, he knows, they know. Like anytime a quarterback runs in a spring game, you're kind of like, dude, because nobody can tackle you, nobody can touch you. So I think Taylor was focused on the pocket today, 9 of 20. Obviously, the completion percentage, he wants to do a little bit, have a little bit higher. He's under 50% completion on 9 for 20, but the volume yardage was there. The splash plays were there. I thought the accuracy on the 9 completions, had some good balls thrown. So, I mean, I'm not going to crush Taylor Green for being 9 for 20 on the spring game. You know, they gave him 5 carries for 29 yards. I think he would have had more than that if he was able to break tackles out there, because I think he would have.
Sam was just about to say the same thing. Prince stood out in a big way in warm-ups, let alone in the game. Grand Teton says Prince reminds him of Cedric Wilson in some ways.
Fair comparison. He's tall, he's lanky, he's athletic, he's smooth. Like Andy said, and I'll give a little tease, like they expect Prince Strawn to come in and be a guy this year in that receiving core. We didn't factor him in much, and we already said this was a deep receiving core.
Yep.
I think the Prince kid might have passed McAllister for me for the biggest physical freak in the room. I think it's the Prince kid. I can't believe that kid should be in high school right now. He sticks out on the field, BJ.
No doubt.
I was field side. I think you were as well.
You got some intel there before the game,
you see him, and you're like, whoa. Yeah,
Shea Whiting, by the way, we haven't mentioned much at all this spring. He led the team with 5 catches. So is that the most loaded position on the team, receiver?
I believe so. Yep. You could have 2 significant injuries in that room and maybe you'd still be okay. I think it's going to be one of these deals where Andy and Bush are going to have to say, okay, guys, collectively, you're all going to put about the same numbers up. It won't be every week, though. One week it might be Prince. The next week it might be McAllister. Then you're going to get a Caples, Bowens, static special somewhere. But at the end of the year, your stats are all going to kind of be the same place. So that receiver room has to be the most unselfish room in the building right now. What is traditionally a very selfish position, wide receiver, here it's not. I don't sense that at all. There's a lot of them fighting for those reps, and at the end of the year, maybe this is a team, BJ, that has 5 or 6 players catching 30, 40 balls.
What do you think of Maddox Madsen tonight?
I like him.
Jacob says, was he the best quarterback today? Does he have any shot at winning the position?
Never. No. Taylor Green's the quarterback of this team. The only way he's not is if he gets injured. And
he said J.L. Skinner tweeted about him.
Hope that doesn't happen. Mad Dog they really like. And he has a vibe that Andy describes with Mad Dog.
By the way, he was 8 of 10, 97 yards and a touchdown.
Very efficient. I love the touchdown score on the pass he had to Caples. It was money. He read that pre-snap. Bush has been talking a lot this offseason about pre-snap. Bush wants to have the play solved before the ball is hiked. And a lot of smart coaches now, the Shanahans, the McVays, that's what they're doing. They want to dissect the code before the ball is snapped. That play stood out to me. It felt like Mad Dog knew exactly where he was going to go. It was just up to him to kind of sit there and bait the defense and not let him know instantly where he was going with the rock. Saw the slant out, I think it was, on the route. And it was a terrific play. So I like Mad Dog. I think Mad Dog did this. Andy, you don't need to go in the portal. You don't need to look for a veteran, serviceable, experienced backup.
Or some
because we all
JUCO
know
transfer or something.
this offense is good enough to operate without Taylor Green. I say that. They have enough talent. If Taylor goes down and you have a capable guy behind him, I think you can still win the Mountain West.
You've seen enough in Maddox Madsen.
I think maybe Mad Dog said to Avalos today, I got this. You guys, you don't need to go find somebody in the portal. But then maybe they want to. There's going to be guys that go into the portal after this spring season, BJ, and there's going to be a lot of guys out there who have played a lot of football at this level who would probably love to come to Boise State, finish it out, experience this culture, and hey, if Taylor gets hurt, I got his back. That type of role. I mean, yeah.
Let's play some highlights. I first want to thank a couple of our sponsors. Cutwater Spirits, more than 30 flavors of premixed premium cocktails. We're broadcasting from the mobile Cutwater Studios here at the James on the patio. Beautiful evening, and we appreciate Cutwater Spirits. Rowpaint.com, our title sponsor. They're scheduling for those concrete coatings 5 times stronger than epoxy. The one-day install. Check them out, roepaint.com. Lithia Ford of Boise, they want to buy your used vehicle. Jim Sturk and Company, they're sponsoring the hole-in-one at the golf tournament. We appreciate them. But if you're looking to sell a used car, they'll give you a cash offer on the spot from their appraiser. Check it out, LithiaFordBoise.com and Idaho Central Credit Union, ICCU.com. The best in mobile e-branch online banking. And check them out, Idaho Central Credit Union, Again, you go in one time to set up your account. You never have to go in again because they are the best in mobile e-branch online banking, all of your banking needs. There's a Idaho Central Credit Union pretty much on every corner. Check them out at Idaho Central Credit Union. Johnny, let's see some highlights from the game. These were shot courtesy of our man, Colin Mitchell. We appreciate him.
The best.
I noticed here in the sun, Johnny, how dirty my screen is. So hopefully we can at least see. But here's your guy, Maddox Madsen, right off the bat, dropping back to pass, and had a nice deep one there.
You know, Mad Dog, I thought checked a lot of boxes for Bronco Nation. I think the biggest one is just the confidence. If something happens to Talon, is this offense, with Mad Dog at quarterback, still good enough to play at a high-caliber Mountain West level? I think it is.
You see, what do you think of C.J. Tiller today, too? He didn't get a ton of run.
5 for 7, 46 yards.
A nice pass, and that's your guy, Prince, on the catch from CJ.
I thought Prince was brilliant today, especially that first quarter gem on the sideline he had. Prince was all over the place. And back to what you were saying, though, about C.J. Tiller. I mean, what more? I would give his performance an A. The kid was in high school 3 months ago. What more do I need to see from him? He's not going to play this year. And he comes out and has a very respectable day. Good for C.J. Tiller.
Jonah Dalmas connecting here on the field goal. We talked to him earlier this week. James Ferguson Reynolds doing the holding there. So not a lot of work for the specialist, but nice to see. But here's Maddox Madsen again, finding Latrell Caples for the touchdown.
That was the play I talked about earlier. I felt that, and I would talk to Bush if we were able to talk to him on this. Not taking a shot, but it would have been nice. On the play Mad Dog had to Caples there, it felt like it was a pre-snap indication read. They knew they were going to score before the ball was snapped, and that's when an offense gets in the right rhythm, BJ. When they know they're going to score before the ball is snapped, that's Kellen Moore stuff around here, man.
Yeah.
I love that Bush is bringing those Kellen Moore era implements back to this offense. We're going to get you pre-snap. We're going to dissect you. We're going to figure out what coverage you're in, and we're going to be ready to execute. I'm liking this offense a lot, but as Prater would tell me, I got to temper this, bro. It's the spring game, and I'm all excited about what I saw offensively. Half the defense didn't even play today.
Mike Prater's going to be here, by the way, and will join us. He heard free drinks, and he was on his way. So we'll talk to Mike Prater shortly. You saw a field goal there from Wyatt Redding, the backup kicker who got in the mix. 20-yard touchdown run from Genty as well while Johnny was talking there. And here's Talon Green. They're in the backed-up situation. Nice pass break up there. Not a ton of great moments for the defense. No turnovers today, like you said. What do you take away, if you can, anything from the defense?
Omarion McCoy.
Yeah.
I really, really like the McCoy kid. I'm sorry, but if I'm some of these guys.
Here's the 75-yarder, by the way, on the screen pass. Ashton Genty staying in bounds, and that helped inflate his numbers a little bit. But a couple of missed tackles there, but sorry, back to McCoy.
Yeah, explosiveness there from Jenny. McCoy, I thought was, if I'm a Boise State player on defense and I didn't play today, maybe I'm out hurt, maybe I play corner, I see McCoy say, I say, I better get this thing going, because I think it's going to be very hard for Omarion McCoy not to be a starter at corner this year. I thought Jalen Clark played okay too. I thought the back and forth between the receiver and the quarterback, I thought the back and forth there, BJ,
you're good, was
a good battle. I thought the defense won some there. I thought they had some pass breakups. I thought they made some good plays. But the McCoy kid, and man, you can barely see him. He's like 5'8", like a $150. He's listed at 167, but he is a small player. But he has tremendous ball skills and a feel for the game. He plays with that quarterback moxie. He plays with that quarterback arrogance / cockiness that I love to see great quarterbacks. Seems like great cornerbacks possess that quality. I think the McCoy kid does, and I think they found a nice little find. Laney College. If you guys remember the show Last Chance U on Netflix, they featured Laney College one year, and Omarion McCoy, I don't believe he was on that team, but by the way, it's tough. A lot of schools don't recruit JCs like they used to, BJ.
Yep.
The transfer portal has replaced that.
Yep.
There's a ton of JC kids, sadly, aren't finding jobs they did before, or jobs, schools to play for. But Omarion McCoy and Boise State, I like that kid.
Well, again, the offense wins it. It was a modified scoring situation, 56-25. You see the postgame there, and Boise State able to get the win. Hey, let's thank a couple more of our sponsors real quick, then we'll hear from Andy Avalos, the blueandorangestore.com. Check them out, the Blue and Orange store. Free shipping, any order over $40, or if you're in the Boise Town Square Mall, you can go there to the second floor of the Boise Town Square Mall. We appreciate the Blue and Orange store. Ridley's Family Markets. Check them out. Ridley's Family Markets. The new app. Go download the Ridley's app. Find a location near you at shopridleys.com. Our friend Matt Bauscher, Bauscher Real Estate. Number 1 ranked realtor in the Treasure Valley is Matt Bauscher. Check him out. BauscherRealEstate.com. You need business insurance? And again, Andy Avalos coming up shortly. United Commercial Insurance, the best in business insurance. 229-8222, UnitedCommercialInsurance.com. Check them out. Quick call could save you hundreds of dollars. If you're looking for a dentist, Boise Dentistry Co. Chris Minert and his staff do a tremendous job. They make going to the dentist an enjoyable experience. 5 locations around the Treasure Valley. Check them out. Boise at dentistryco.com. And if you're looking for a job, I got you taken care of. Transcompservice.com. Get into the trucking industry. Why not? It's a booming industry right now coming off the pandemic, and they can help you every step of the way to get the permits and things you need to get out there and tow that first load in no time. So check them out, transcompservice.com. Let's hear from Andy Avalos. We're going to have Mike Prater come by. We got John Mallory here. Here's the head coach, Andy Avalos, after the win for the offense.
Well, we did a solid job taking care of the ball. It's been a huge emphasis. You know, we want to be explosive and make plays when we have the ball in our hands. So we got to take care of it too. And in doing so, we can't be running around with that thing, flailing around everywhere. So I feel like that's been a great emphasis. Coach Montgomery's done a good job coming in here and getting team buy-in to ball security. We did have, we had a fair amount of missed tackles today, and we've got to do a much better job tackling, plain and simple. That's where defense starts. And we will make sure that even before with our last practice here we have on Tuesday that we address the tackling situation and we get ourselves moving in the direction we want to be going as we move into the summertime.
Have you noticed that in camp, or did it just kind of crop up today in the tackling?
Well, I mean, it's the last scrimmage. It wasn't the best either. We've spent a lot of time working on tackling, but obviously some of the things that you've got to be able to change it up, and so that we're addressing the things that we need to be, so that we're building that confidence, so that guys can finish. The other part is too, it's cool when you got ball carriers that can break tackles, so it's kind of double-edged sword there.
Maddox Madsen, 8 for 10 today. He's not the biggest guy, but man, he can really spin it out there. What have you learned about him in the last 2 seasons?
Number one, his intangibles are awesome. I mean, he is always so even keel. He knows how to lead. He can lead guys around him. He's always got such a great vibe, and obviously he brings, his capacity in terms of his football knowledge for a younger guy is really, really good. He spends time at it, and I'm just really excited for him and what he's doing, as well as the rest of the quarterbacks.
Explosive has been a big word for you guys this spring. Big emphasis. 11 explosive plays today. Are you getting what you want out of that in camp?
Yeah, and it's been, I mean, we see the balls getting pushed around to a bunch of different guys too. I mean, I love the way we have the ability to get the ball in certain people's hands to create, and then let the guys go execute it. It's fun to see. And so as we move into the summertime, there's plenty of things too. And I mean, obviously it's the spring game, so we're not gonna show everything. There's plenty of more things for certain personnel on our team that has proven to be able to do really good things with the ball. And the overall, if you're looking at all the spring ball and the things that we were able to get done, whether it be in the pre-snap, the movements and the variety of formations and things that we have in place, again, to gain leverage on a defense and to get certain guys in positions, it's been fun to see.
What have you thought of Amarion McCoy this spring?
He's done a really nice job. You talk about making progress from practice number 1 all the way through. He's a guy that we are going to need him to continue to grow and stay on the path that he is on. It's exciting. He has come in here and really opened up his heart to learning. He wants to learn. He's enjoyable to coach, and we're excited to have him here.
We saw obviously what Ashton did last year and the way he finished in the bowl game, 2 long touchdowns again today. I mean, how much ready is he, I guess, to take that next step in his game this year?
Yeah, he has. I mean, it starts with his development too. He was a true freshman last year, and another year into it, our strength staff is doing an unbelievable job, not only helping him develop, but overall our whole team. I mean, the way the guys look, their body mass, their body armor, their explosiveness, their mobility and flexibility. When you bring all that together, it creates explosiveness. And so once we get done with our practice on Tuesday, we'll have a few weeks here of training before the guys go on break. And it's gonna be at a premium that they do a good job over the May break, taking care of themselves, so that we don't lose all the gains that we've gotten, through training and nutrition in the last 3 months here.
He's such a physical runner. I mean, what is that running style? What impact does that have on the defense?
Yeah, they'll wear a defense out, and when you got big guys up front that are doing a good job and improving and creating space and displacing the defense, we're pretty fortunate. We're excited about the guys we have in the backfield, and really all of them have done a great job improving. You saw KD run the ball well today too. It's really cool to see not only him build his body into a tailback body, because you're going to obviously get hit at tailback. You've got to have that armor on your body, your upper body, your legs, your thighs, and it's cool to see how he's developing and how he's growing as a young man as well.
We've heard a lot of coaches talk about maybe trying to revamp the spring game by doing a scrimmage or something. Would you be in favor of that, and what would that even look like?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I haven't put much thought in it, to be honest with you. But it'd be nice to go against someone else at some point or another. And then I'm sure there's different structures that can be put in place. If you're going to go off something, it's probably got to be off what the NFL does, in the fall, where they have practices first, joint practices, and then they move into obviously their preseason games and, what those formats would look like. I do know this. I mean, I think everybody in college football understands and knows the rosters aren't the same, in the spring as they are in the fall. So that's something that's got to be considered. I mean, you guys see the modifications today. We want to play in front of Bronco Nation and have fun and get the work in. We got a lot of young players that need to get work, but there's also a certain play count that is fair to the amount of players we have and how big our team is. And we actually hit that right on today. And it was cool to see all the guys get the work that they needed.
One guy that keeps popping up, his name's Prince. Receiver was had a big long catch there. I mean, what did he come in and do this spring to show that he's worthy of being in the competition going into the fall?
Yeah, he's done a really nice job. I mean, he's the type of guy, we start meetings at 7 a.m. and he's here at 5:30 in the morning getting himself ready. I mean, he's really dedicated and committed. He's a humble young man, and we're just really excited about, what he's brought to the team this spring, how he leads himself, how he's consistent on the field, and really, really excited for him to grow forward in the summertime.
Have you been around a kid who's maybe developed quicker than Prince coming in as a January kid?
I mean, that's hard to say because, there's a lot of different positions and things like that. I was around Kayvon Thibodeau, and he came in January. So there's names that come to mind, but, obviously different positions. But I will say this just overall, with his capacity to learn and to grow and his consistency and his commitment to the things that it takes. It's not always just the physical ability when young guys come in, it's the maturity to be able to do things and keep the priorities. And so as long as he continues to do that, he'll be an impactful player this fall.
What do you think today, and I guess the whole spring, about getting pressure on the quarterback? How do you think he has to do?
We actually have done a good job getting pressure on the quarterback. It's a little bit of a unique situation when you do these scrimmages and the quarterback's not live. You got to make the referee's got to make the judgment call, on whether the quarterback would have got sacked. But the biggest things that you look for, whether we're getting pressure on the quarterback or not, is if we're moving him off the spot and if he's having to move his feet and or slide, to the side, slide up, and creating that disruption in the backfield. And overall this spring, we've actually done a pretty good job with that.
What did you see out of the offensive line today? Number ones, number twos. Obviously, I don't know if it doesn't look like that's the group you're going to go to battle with this fall, but what did you see today?
Well, the cool thing about it is there's a ton of guys banking reps. There's some experienced guys that aren't out there to get the team reps today. But the most important thing is that guys are getting reps that they can learn from, whether they be good or, bad, and just being able to learn from those and grow forward are huge. Now, in my opinion, based off of all this spring, I thought the O-line this last week improved tremendously. We obviously had some explosive runs today. We did a better job protecting the quarter. We did the best job protecting the quarterbacks today that we have all the spring ball. I mean, we got a fair amount of pressure on the quarterbacks today, but there was a lot more in the previous scrimmages.
Did you see Nathan at all? How much did you see of him and how he played today?
Yeah, he did a solid job. It's his ability to lead, being the center, just I mean, when you're the center, you got to have some command. You got to have some consistency. There's 5 guys, and you're the glue. You got to hold it together. And so he's made progress over the course of the spring, him and Jason, and we're excited to see those guys continue to grow as we move forward into the summertime.
You're obviously installing a new offense. How do you feel like you guys did today in terms of the operation and just lining up correctly and just the simple things?
Yeah, you know what? The players did a really good job. There's always things that come up. I mean, if you guys want to know, you can barely hear on the offensive headsets. They're beeping in and out for whatever reason. I mean, so there's things like that no one really knows is going on that you got to deal with and work through. And so I would say that the offensive staff and the players did a really good job working through that to handle that situation and the young men signaling the plays in and obviously getting them and getting it done in a timely manner. I mean, there was a couple of times there where we almost had to call timeouts or we had to call one, but it's really it's not per se because of the communication and operation, but just dealing with some technical difficulties.
Bush is an upstairs guy on game day.
Yeah.
Taylor was telling us the other day, he's been working with Bush about his communication and just even like a deeper voice and just the way he's leading. I mean, what do you take in terms of what you wanted to get out of him this spring to where he is now going into the summer? Did he do what you guys hoped he would?
Yeah, I mean, it's always a work in progress, right? We're making positive strides with that whole room in general. We're making positive strides. So the biggest thing is that command in the huddle is everything. That command in the meeting room, and he is showing that. Taylor is a very humble guy and wants to learn and grow. And to be honest with you, we got a really unbelievable team right now that is willing to do whatever any of our coaches set in front of them, any of the coordinators, the position coaches, and it's really fun to be around, and that's why we're making huge strides. The areas that we identify that we need to get better at, the guys are always eager to get that done. No different than the communication and being abrupt. It's louder out there, right? Today was loud. They were playing the music and stuff pretty loud in the pregame, and that's good work too because it makes the quarterbacks even be more efficient with their verbal communication and also the nonverbal communication.
Well, there he was, Andy Avalos. We had a camera malfunction, so we're now using the laptop camera here, Johnny. I just like being closer to you. But any takeaways from Andy Avalos' comments?
Yeah, the first and the foremost, I like how Andy addressed the biggest concern, and it was tackling or lack thereof from his defense. And that's a hard thing for me now because they don't tackle in practice anymore. They just don't. They don't go full, but very few and far between, okay? So they just don't have the practice in tackling like they do all these other elements of the sport that they do in practice. Tackling isn't one of them. So you kind of got to flip a switch a little bit defensively, and they didn't today. But on the same token, this Boise State offense, I don't want to get too hyperbolic here, but I don't know where the weakness is. I think the line's going to be strong. I like everything they're doing at running back. The receiving core, we talked about that. There's guys factoring into the mix now that we didn't even factor in a couple of days ago. Prince, Strawn, mainly, right?
Yeah.
I mean, so the defense, Andy's saying, hey, they didn't tackle as well as they needed to, but heck, that's one hell of an offense, and that should give Boise State a lot of hope. The schedule is murderous, and I know we have all summer to talk about that with this team and that schedule, but spring game, 2 thumbs up for me. I thought Coach Avalos got what he wanted out of it, other than the fact that they didn't tackle that well. But I don't ever remember a spring game at Boise State where there was a guy who had 187 yards on 5 touches, and that was Ashton Gentee's day. He had 167 total yards, BJ, sorry. 82 on the ground, 85 in the air.
That's pretty impressive on what?
On 5 touches. So Ashton Gentee's your spring game MVP. I haven't seen a guy light it up like that. Shea Whiting came out of the fold a little bit too, who might factor into this thing. I think this is a huge year for kind of the old reliables, but they haven't been super reliable. I'm talking Latrell Caples.
Okay.
I'm talking Billy Bowens, who didn't play today,
Steph
obviously.
Cobbs.
And I'm talking Static Cobbs, okay?
Those are your 3.
They have been in the mix at this school.
And they all came back.
For what seems like 4 years.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, I'm looking at Eric McAllister. I'm looking at Prince Strawn. Now, I'm looking at Shea Whiting. I mean, that's just how deep this is. Austin Bolt, I don't even know where he is.
People are asking about him. Yeah, he wasn't even out there today.
I did not see him on the field.
Has not been around the program, it sounds like.
Which is odd.
There were a couple comments about Austin Bolt.
He is on the roster, I will say that. The team listed an active roster today. Number 81, Austin Bolt, is on it. So I don't want to speculate that he's not on the team, but I did not see Austin Bolt on the field in the warm-ups. He's easy to spot, too.
Yeah.
And I didn't see him, so we'll see what happens there. But, yeah, the tremendous talent in that receiver room right now, and I'm kind of leaning towards some of these younger guys, BJ, a little Emac, a little Prince, and a little Shea Whiting here. You know, I mean, Billy Bowens, Latrell Caples, and Static, this is a big year for them. They got to take command. They're the vets, and we'll see what happens.
Sam says he liked the offensive scheme. You notice anything different about what Bush was doing?
Yeah, because I felt like they were pre-snap reading. They knew what they were going to do. They knew where they were going pre-snap. That's what Kellen did. Bush is implementing a lot of Kellen, Chris Peterson era principles because Bush was on the sideline wearing a headset.
Yeah.
And Bush Hamden heard every single call that ever came in from an OC or Peterson to Kellen. Bush Hamden knew the rhythm that Kellen
By the way,
was able to have here.
Dirk Cutter was there today and was in the box.
Talked to him several times.
Hanging out with Bush Hamden.
Talked to him several times. Yeah, Dirk was there. And
He
he's
just
awesome,
can't get
man.
away, man.
I love it,
He just
man.
can't get away.
I love Dirk Cutter, and he just loves football. And I love football, too. If I had Dirk Cutter's access, I'd be in the coach's room, too. But, yeah, BJ really liked a lot with Bush in that offense, and it felt old-school Boise State stuff, and I think Bush is going to do a pretty good job bringing some of that back. I don't know how many shotgun quarterback reads we're going to have this year with Taylor Green and Ashton Genty. It seemed like Dirk, because he had to, relied on that a lot last year. I don't know where Bush is going to go with that. We didn't see – did we see any of that today?
No.
Couple?
No,
I don't
not
remember
much, not
seeing
much.
a
Yeah,
read.
not much.
Just a classic standard quarterback shotgun read
Which,
option
and
with the
again-
back. I didn't see it, but maybe.
And again, with Taylor not being live, that changes it a little bit. I guess he could pull it and take off. But I guess final couple things for you, because Mike Prater is gracing us with his presence here. He's at the bar getting a drink, and then he'll be joining us. Tell us, Johnny, what the hype of this team going into the offseason now. It sounds like the offense, we expect to be a top 25 offense in the nation. I think if this team doesn't score 40 points a game, there'll be some disappointed people. I mean, is that fair to say?
Love the offense, and I think it's a mile away from the rest of the Mountain West. I think the Mountain West is going to be down this year. I think Taylor Green is going to be your Mountain West preseason player of the year at your media days in Las Vegas.
They're yours too. They're yours too.
Yeah, we just don't get to go to Vegas like you do. However,
we're going to work on that.
I think that Taylor's going to be your preseason player of the year in this league. I think Boise is going to be a big-time favorite in this league, but I don't think this season is going to come down to this league. It's the most challenging non-conference schedule, and since I paid attention to Boise State, I mean, BJ, there's a realistic chance. I'll be the party pooper here. You're 1-4.
Okay, you open up at UW.
You lose to the Huskies. You lose to Central Florida. You beat North Dakota. You lose to San Diego State. You lose in Memphis.
Back-to-back road
You're
games.
1-4, and all of a sudden Andy Javelos' job is in jeopardy, right? I mean,
if they're 1-4,
that's how tough that non-con is for me. But I like the team, and it's going to be fun to cover.
So offense, a lot of hype, a lot of excitement. Defense,
tackle.
Yeah.
Wrap up.
Johnny, appreciate you.
Get healthy.
Thanks for coming on, John Mallory. Not too many more drinks on my tab, Johnny, please.
I haven't had one.
We know how that goes with John Mallory. We've hung out together.
I haven't had one.
Somehow one drink becomes 3 or 4, but appreciate it, Johnny. Hey, save the date, June 2nd, Timberstone Golf Course, Bronco Nation News Golf Tournament. We're going to bring Mike Prater in here to join us for a few minutes and give his thoughts on the spring game, but we've got some openings left for the afternoon flight. If you want to work half a day, we'd love to have you. June 2nd, Timberstone Golf Course is the second annual Bronco Nation News Golf Tournament. Johnny, did he break it on the way out the door?
It was me.
Okay, it was Colin. We're working on. All right, we're working on the mic here, but we'll bring Mike Prater in here in just a second. And but June 2nd is the Bronco Nation News Golf Tournament. We'd love to have you guys join us, and again, that'll be a hole-in-one. You can get a hole-in-one from Lithia Ford to Boise. You can drive away with a new Bronco Sport. If you get a hole-in-one at the tournament, we'd love to have you. Again, the morning's flight is just about sold out. We got some spots in the afternoon, but we would love to have you for the Bronco Nation News Golf Tournament if you're able to join us. If we need to go to the alternative mic, I guess we can do that at some point here. Colin is furiously working to impress to fix the mic situation here for Mike Prater. Mike Prater, and not unexpected that Johnny would break something on the way out the door here.
He ran to the bar for a cocktail. By the way, thank you for.
What'd you go with here? We're trying to give James some love.
I went with a Tito's and something pink and fuzzy. So
okay.
I think it had the word giraffe in it. The James has the best cocktail menu that in all of the Treasure Valley. I've said that.
Yes.
I'm not sure I'm an expert about football and basketball, but I know a really good cocktail menu when I see one.
Well, we appreciate you for stopping by. Our camera broke for some reason, so we're using the camera here. We're a little closer together than we'd like to be, but we're friends here. What were your general takeaways? I know it's the spring game gets a lot of hype, and then when it comes down to it, not much really happens.
No.
A lot of guys are out injured. They're not showing much offensively. Any general takeaways?
Yeah, the word clean is what came to mind. I didn't write about clean after the game, but clean was certainly something that came up in terms of no penalties, not a lot of injuries. I saw a couple of guys limping around. I don't think that there's too much of an issue there. I thought it was a really nice, clean game. You always want to come away without any injuries. The penalty thing is always a good psychological upbeat. I think Andy Avalos got everything he wanted accomplished in terms of this offense. The defense, he seemed a little grumpy about that in terms of mixed tackles and said that it's been a little bit of an issue, especially late in the second half of spring camp. But, spring games, come on, man. You got quarterbacks out there with pillows and defensive guys trying to tackle them. It's a tough situation. And, of course, the explosive plays. 11 explosive plays, which, by the way,
you're writing about.
I'm writing about. But more importantly, I know it's a scrimmage, but that's more explosive plays in this one scrimmage than any game that Boise State played in the first month of its season last year. They had like 4 or 5 explosive plays a game last year until Cutter took over. Then they averaged about 10. Today they had 11.
Yeah, you didn't have DJ Schramm or some of the starters out there, which makes it, again, hard to figure stuff out. But It does seem like, as we were finishing up with Johnny there, it seems like that what we kind of thought going into the spring, most of the offensive talent back, the offense should be good. Some questions, some new guys need to step up on defense. It seems like that's the same storyline after spring ball going into the summer.
Yeah, I'm a little worried about the defensive line, to be honest with you. And I was worried about the defensive line coming into this scrimmage, and I'm certainly worried about it coming out of this scrimmage. Stopping the run, plugging that up. I'm not saying that they're going to sit here and be bad. By the way, did I hear Johnny predict a 1-4 start?
He said they could be 1-4.
Okay, I wanted to clarify.
He said
that.
they could be 1-4.
Okay, so there's some issues there in terms of the defensive line. If they can't stop that run, I'm really worried about that. I think the back half of that defense is going to be okay. I think the middle of the defense is going to be okay, but the front half of that defense really, really concerns me, BJ.
You mentioned the explosive plays on offense. You're writing about that for the Sunday edition of the Idaho Press. You mentioned 11 explosive plays, but and we didn't even see Taylon Green really in full force in terms of his running ability due to the he wasn't live, so it's basically a two-hand touch on the quarterbacks. We also didn't see George Halani play in this game. Billy Bowens didn't play in this game either. I know in the media and we like to hype up things, and we have all summer to do this, but you look back at the last 10, 15 years here. I mean, does this have a chance to be one of the better offenses Boise State's had?
I put in my column. I put a line in my column today. My column, by the way, is about hyperbole, so take it for what it's worth. But I said this is one of the best collections of skilled players that Boise State's ever had. I think they can go 5 deep at wide receiver. And back in the day, they went Pettis and Titus, and they had plenty of wide receivers. I don't remember them ever going 5 deep. Now we got 2 deep at running back, and Dudley had a great game today. I'm not sure he's ever going to be counted on.
You got Breezy Dubar coming in as well.
Exactly. So, maybe even Breezy Dubar doesn't even play. He plays the 4-game minimum and saves that season. He may not even be needed. So I'm really starting to be impressed with this collection of wide receivers. Prince Strawn, as we understand it is now, Prince Strawn certainly has been a surprise. So there's 5 legitimate weapons at wide receiver, 2 legitimate weapons at running back, and I don't even have to sit here and tell you about the quarterback. 1998, Dirk Cutter's second season, they averaged 30.2 points a game. Every single year since then, they've averaged at least 30 points a game until these last 2 years with Andy Avalos. He was under 20. He was under 30 both times. So I think this is a group of players that can get past that 30-point mark and be the explosive offense that Andy Avalos wants.
And of the 5 receivers you're talking about, one of them is not who led the team in receiving today, Shea Whiting. So you can just keep going down the line with how many guys that they got. What was your take on Maddox Madsen, backup quarterback? Johnny said he thought he did enough today where Boise State won't be needing to go into the transfer portal and find some last-second veteran quarterback to be the backup. He thinks that Maddox showed enough today that if something were to happen with Taylon Green, they should feel confident that Maddox Madsen could still win them the Mountain West.
Well, we saw it today publicly, but I mean, coaches already knew that coming into tonight's game. Today's game meant nothing to the coaches and that backup spot. We asked Andy Avalos about the backup or about the quarterback position. They have 4 on the roster, and he said a 5th one's coming in, and I was confused by that for a couple of weeks, but they have a walk-on coming in, so he's a local kid. I'm assuming that's your 5th guy. No, you don't need a transfer portal quarterback. I think Maddox Madsen can do exactly what you want. C.J. Tiller, I mean, he was 5 for 7 today with 46 yards.
His high school prom is like tonight or something.
Is it tonight?
Or something. It's coming up pretty soon, yeah.
And hopefully he never has to play, and Taylor Green is the man. But, yeah, I think Maddox Madsen was – I don't know if he was the star of the first half, but he may have been the biggest surprise. He had a couple of nice explosive plays as Andy Avalos is looking for. So certainly functionable enough to take care of business. If they're going to dip into the transfer portal, I'm not sure where they want to go, but I wouldn't go quarterback.
I don't remember if I was talking about this with you or with Jay Tuss on one of the morning shows, but I mentioned how I'm putting my early top 25 together for next year. And the Genty, George Halani, where you rank them is very interesting to me. I'm probably, because of just the 5th-year senior, the veteran status, probably will have George Halani 1 spot ahead. But, and maybe it's prisoner of the moment based on what Ashton Genty did in that bowl game, rushing for 178 yards.
Yep.
But he carried it over today, 5 touches for well over 100 yards. He had the 62-yard touchdown run, and then he had the 75-yard touchdown pass on the screenplay where he made a couple guys miss. And, again, there were some missed tackles as part of that, but 5 touches. 2 of them were touchdowns of more than 60 yards. Where do you see Ashton Genty? I know Johnny's really high on Ashton. He's been saying for a while that he's maybe even the starting back over George next year, the featured back. Am I crazy to even be thinking about Ashton Genty in terms of most important players ahead of George Halani? Where's Ashton for you? Because he had another really strong game today.
This is going to be so fascinating to watch. This is going to be a media story come true.
Which you guys just love.
We just love that nonsense. We just love that nonsense. I mean, there's no doubt. Come on, let's be honest. Ashton Genty's a better running back. It's clearly he's the better running back. But at what point do you put the human element and say George Halani is pretty damn good as well? And you certainly need to over the course of a season. How do you play them both? They've teased us with both of them being in the backfield, and they showed us a couple of those sets today. We saw some split backs in there, and they get in motion and they move around. So we saw some of that today. Obviously not George Halani because he didn't suit up today, but that's going to be tough because the loyalty tells you that George Halani deserves as much credit, and the fact that he even came back, give the guy as much love as you possibly can. But if you're going to want to win a football game, I'm going Ashton Genty.
And I know Jay Tuss joked, I don't know if he was joking about it, but he said after the season, or I guess when Halani decided to come back, based on all the running backs, we'd have to do another look at that are leaving from the Mountain West. It won't happen, but you could actually make a case and make the vote and defend the vote. You could have Ashton Genty and George Halani as your 2 first-team Mountain West running backs this year.
And Taylor Green is your quarterback.
And the preseason. I mean, Wyoming lost their guy to the portal. A lot of teams have lost their star running backs. I think Fresno's guy was out of eligibility. It won't happen. They'll split votes or whatever. But you could make a case based on what they did last year. And if you want to project it forward, the 2 best running backs in the Mountain West might be on Boise State's roster.
Could you say the 3 best running backs might be on Boise State's roster? With
you know what? I think going Tyler Crow. I love Tyler Crow. Yeah, I was gonna give you Ethan Makita as well. I thought he deserved some credit, but
dang it! One of my predictions coming into the spring game was that Tyler Crow would be the leading runner.
Well, if Ashton Genty didn't have the, it would have been Caden Dudley actually. If Ashton Genty didn't have the 62-yard run, because he only got 2 carries. We predicted that you weren't going to see a lot of Ashton Genty, but he had 2 carries. In this game. But anything else, Mike? I mean, we heard from Andy. You mentioned the defensive line worrying you a little bit. I mean, again, DJ Schramm wasn't out there. Dimitri Washington wasn't out there bringing some pressure off the edge. Some other guys were out. Markel Reed at corner. Yep. Canijo at corner as well. So it is a little tough to get a grasp on this defense, but it does seem like when the score reflected it, the offense is well ahead of the defense right now.
Yeah, in the last 2 years under Andy Avalos, the defensive head coach for Boise State, the defense has been the more dominant part of this football program. But that's changing and changing dramatically this offseason. There's no doubt in my mind that this offense is going to score 30 to 35-plus points a game. The offense is going to be the star in 2023. How much of a star, we're not sure. And how good can this defense be? That'd be a lot of fun. Back in the day when Boise State just used to track meet everybody and just try to outscore everybody and not worry about the defense, that might be kind of the season we're looking at this year. Especially, don't forget, Washington last year averaged 40 points a game. 40 points a game.
Wow, what's that over-under going to be?
And Penix is coming back. So, yeah, that could be a 76 over-under in Vegas.
I know you're – speaking of Vegas, I mean, if we had to put an over-under on points per game average for this Boise State offense, What do you think's fair? I mean, is 40 points too high to expect this team to score?
I think 40 is too high, but I'm going to
37, 38.
I'll go 35 plus.
Okay.
And I could probably be talked into an over on a 35 plus bet. But
okay.
Yeah, this football team should be. I mean, we're only asking for one more touchdown than they had last year. Last year they averaged 29 and change. We're asking for one more touchdown. And with 5 unbelievable wide receivers, a quarterback, and 2 running backs, are you kidding me? One extra touchdown a game. 35 plus, I think, is a good bet.
James asked about Dalmas. How was Dalmas today? I believe he made he had one 55-yarder that was either tipped or blocked, but finished a little short. He did make another field goal. What do you make of the special teams? I know we talked earlier this week. You guys aired a lot of it on your show, talking to James Ferguson Reynolds, the punter from Australia. Got off to a little bit of a slow start, but when you really go back and think about it, like everybody else has always played high school football growing up, and it was their first college game, but not their first American football game. This guy literally in the Oregon State game had never played a quote unquote, American football game ever. And I think a lot of people bashed him a little bit and said, oh, all this hype and this is what we got. And then as the season went on, his numbers were not terrible. We didn't see a lot of punting in this at all in terms of the actual scrimmage, but whether it's him, whether it's Dalmas coming back, what's your general take on special teams?
I think Jonah Dalmas is going to be one of the best kickers in America as long as you're not asking him to go more than 50 yards. His career long is 51. I think he's done it twice. Today, the 55-yarder was woefully short, woefully low.
I'm going to say it was tipped, though.
It was really low. It was really weird coming off his foot.
Yeah.
And it even sounded kind of weird. You can actually kind of hear it, which is not a good indictment on the crowd, by the way. You can actually hear the football coming off his foot. So something weird happened. That's why they play spring games. So maybe you don't give him any worries, but Jonah Dalmas, money inside 50 yards. The biggest question with him, though, is the leg strength. We just talked about it the other day with him. He said he's better. He said he's 55 plus. Didn't see that today, though.
Somebody was asking about the offense, so what did it look like with Bush Hamden? Could you tell anything different in terms of Bush Hamden coming in? And again, they're not going to probably run most of the plays. They're going to run against Washington. And for whatever reason, these coaches are very paranoid about that kind of stuff. But could you take anything away from Bush Hamden and his offense? But by the way, his mom and his dad, but his mom, while we were down there in the lobby of the Blameyer Center getting ready to leave, his mom came up and said, "You're the guy that does that podcast, that show, Bronco Nation News. You're the guy." I said, "Yeah, I am." She's like, "I love that. Listen, we watch it every day." So Bush Hamden's parents watch the show. Now the dad came up to me afterwards and said, "I thought you were older." So maybe the dad was talking about Mike Prater here. I don't know, but he said, you look good. I said, as long as it makes me look thinner, then I'm happy with that. But Bush Hamden's parents watching Bronco Nation News, we appreciate it. I said, just wait till after that first loss and see if you're still enjoying the show. But
that's pretty good. Usually when people come up to me, they go, "You're Mike Prater, huh?" And I go, "Yeah." And they go, and they turn around and walk away.
By the way, you're getting a lot of love for your appearance, man. They're talking about your weight loss and stuff. So nice work. There was 3 or 4 comments about that.
I'm working on it, but tonight I'm having 7 pizzas.
There we go. There we go. Well, it's all on BNN. So we but Bush Hamden's offense, could you take anything away from it today?
I did notice the tempo, and they've talked a lot about the tempo, and they've given a lot of the pre-snapper responsibilities. They've taken it out of the quarterback. At least that's what they've talked about, and put it on the center and the offensive line guys. So they want Taylor Green to be able to think faster and move faster. And I watched for that today because Bush Hamden talks about that everywhere he goes. So I certainly thought that today. The tempo was a little bit faster. In terms of everything else, it's hard to say because of the scheme, the limited personnel, the vanilla stuff. But the tempo, Bush Hamden, when he talks about the tempo, I thought I really saw that today. So I cannot wait to see that. I'm not sure if it's going to be more plays, but that's certainly the intention. More plays, more points. They want to get to 35 plus.
So they're going into the offseason, one more practice on Tuesday, and then it'll be putting the pads away. A couple weeks, it sounds like, of kind of conditioning workouts still, and they get about 3 weeks off, I think, in May before they come back in June. Hopefully some announcements soon, by the way, on a couple of football players joining us for the Bronco Nation News golf tournament.
Nice.
Maybe you'll get them on KTIK that day when they're out there. But so they're going to get a couple weeks off. They'll come back in that early week of June, right there after Memorial Day to get things going. But just in terms of the offseason storylines, and when you got here, same question to kind of wrap it up with you as I did with Johnny. There's going to be a lot of hype going into that Washington game as our sign here, Colin. It's ready to fall down. If you want to just take it down, we're about done anyway. But that Washington game couldn't be more hyped up, I guess, in terms of that. Then you come home with UCF in the home opener. They're wearing that Big 12 patch now. Oh. I think there's a little animosity, a little jealousy, maybe. I don't know if jealousy is the right word, but there's some Boise State fans that think that should be them, not UCF going to the Big 12. I think that game's going to be a big game. You do get North Dakota, but then back-to-back road games, San Diego State in their new stadium, and then Memphis in the Liberty Bowl. Johnny said that's a real possibility. You could be 1-4. How do you guys fill the airwaves, I guess, for the next 3 months? What is the storylines for you? And what do you make, I guess, of this team and the outlook going into next season?
Yeah, it's one of the toughest non-conference schedules for Boise State. I'm not sure 1-4. 2 and 3, you might be able to talk me into that, but I think more likely a 3 and 2. It's going to be tough. It's really, really a tough schedule. The offseason storylines, more of the off-field stuff, Taylor Green getting name, image, and likeness deals, the community taking care of this football team. Those are the kinds of things we're going to see. The Horseshoe Collective, how much money can they raise? The draft coming up with, I'm very, very curious. Is Boise State going to have 1 player or 4 players taken in the NFL draft? And I think those are both.
Which way are you closer to?
I think Johnny and I the other day on Idaho Sports Talk set a line for 3.5, and we both went with the under.
Think that I would. Yeah, I think the line needs to be 2.5.
Yeah, we went 3.5, and we both went the under. So 2.5 would be a little bit peskier. So John Njoku's getting a little bit more love, and Matt Locke had a great pro day. So I can't wait for the draft, which will end 3 weeks from today, if I remember right. So I'm looking forward to the draft, and that's important. Boise State hasn't had 4 players taken in the draft, which is a possibility.
Yeah.
I don't think it'll happen, but it is a possibility.
Sure.
It's been, 5, 6, 7 years since they've had 4 players taken in the draft. So that would be a nice milestone for this program. Beyond that, I think Andy Avalos has to be very happy with what he's accomplished this spring. He's got himself a nice coaching staff. He's got himself nice players. The transfer portal coming and going really wasn't much of an issue. So I think it's been a nice offseason. Andy Avalos has won the offseason. Now he has to sit and stew for 4.5 months and wait for Washington, which is going to be just a nasty, brutal game.
You can't give me the obvious Taylor Green or whoever, but and just give me appreciate it. Final thing: who's an offensive name and a defensive name that either this spring or just in general you're now high on going into next season, or a quote unquote player to watch offensively and defensively that you're intrigued about going into next season?
Let's go with Prince Strawn.
Yep,
Prince Strawn, and no, not Strahan or Strachan or whatever. Prince Strawn. I can't believe this guy is turning out to be the 5th wide receiver, and the physical abilities. Andy Avalos, and you were there, talked about in his press conference today after the spring game about
we played it,
winning the offseason. If Prince can add 5 more pounds before this season starts, maybe even 10, he's a little bit skinny, and he's young, and he's going to develop, and he could be here for 5 more years. I cannot wait to see how this guy plays and how it goes on. Defensively, let's go with Hassani.
Ahmad Hassani, who he wasn't even out there much this year, but for the spring.
Yeah, and next month he's going to take a couple of his teammates to Egypt for a little bit of a cultural trip.
Yeah.
And I think the edge position, Dimitri Washington and the defensive tackle, the edge on both sides, is going to be very, very key to this football team. A lot of promise from Ahmad Hassani, and I can't wait to see what he does on September 2nd.
By the way, you can have as many drinks as you'd like on my tab, but I'm a little nervous that Johnny left. I thought he was out of here.
Yeah.
And then he just came back and waved by,
I know.
which means he probably pounded 2 more, $12 drinks on my tab. But
I went with one, and it was a pink little fuzzy thing. So
we were at John Anderson's birthday party. I'm going to throw Johnny under the bus. That's fine. We were at John Anderson's birthday party. We love John Anderson.
Yes.
Nice guy. We went to the Buffalo Club. I had never been there before. I had never been to the Buffalo Club, but that's where John wanted to go for his birthday. I had to kind of twist a leg to get Johnny to come out. I said, I'll buy you a drink. So we go up to the bar. It's Jordan. It's a lot of the media folks. Rachel Roberts. We're all there having a good time. Colin was there. It was a good time. And I tell the guy, hey, first drink, it's on me. He orders it. So he gets his drink. We're good. We go leave, whatever. So I go back for a second drink, and, he's already at the bar. Johnny is back up there. And as I'm waiting in line to buy my drink, I hear him go, put it on the Reigns tab.
Oh.
And I said, hold on a minute. What is this? And I went ahead and paid for it. And it was fine. But then I get my bill. My wife I was not trying to load up a huge bill, and I bought like 1 Miller Michelob Ultra myself. I was not drinking much, and I go up to pay the tab after having like 1 drink, and it was like $60. And I think my friend Colin right here, he claims
he's got a big smile.
He does. He knows what I'm talking about, because I sent a text to both of them at about midnight or whatever when I left, and I said, "Really, guys?" And he claims that if it happened, it was a mistake, that he had tried to pay for it himself, and that they had maybe put it. But I think there may have been another drink or two that I didn't even know about that Johnny ended up putting on his tab, because my wife sees a $60 bill at the Buffalo Club. I'm trying to explain myself.
Yes,
I actually only had one. I was being a good guy. I only had one Mick Ultra. I was thinking, okay, a couple bottles of water. My bill's going to be about $20. Okay, I got a drink, maybe 30. It was like $62. And so Johnny still owes me for that. But I got him to come over here. I said I'd buy him a drink or 2. And I'm guessing at the over-under for 2.5. I'm going to probably say over, but
yeah, you might have to strike a deal with Barry and DC in the game.
It's easy here, though. It's a good crowd. It's fun time. They got the outdoor lights now for the patio. I mean, it's we got Arlie's over here. We got the whole staff helping everybody out. Look, there we go. There we go. But it's one of those places where you feel like family when you come here.
I love this place. I absolutely love this place. It's a beautiful place, and anything Barry does, all the taverns, all the Hawaii stuff, it's pretty darn cool. And I love the relationship you have here with the James, especially with the little pink fuzzy drink.
There you go. Well, Prater, I appreciate you coming on, man. Thanks so much. I'm going to let our friend Colin Mitchell finish up the show here for a few minutes. I don't know if we should let Colin make his big announcement or not today, but we'll see here moving forward in the next week or two. We got to make it before April 30th, I guess, would be at some point. But to send a little
that's a good tease,
negative tease, unfortunately. But Prater, sip on that, and if you're nice enough to stay around a few minutes, we'll get one more on me. But thanks a lot, and we'll be listening every Thursday. You join us on BNN, and you guys are doing a great job. Idaho Sports Talk. You're in the same boat I am. We now have to figure out a way to fill 3.5 months of stuff here, but
the 25-part series starts tomorrow.
No, I actually backlogged, and I think it's like the first week of May. We get a couple weeks.
All right,
we get a couple weeks before we really dive into. We got Steelheads playoffs to talk about, right?
And don't forget Leon Rice building a super team.
They had a. Did you see anybody walking around that looked like about 6'8", 240 pounds
with a New York accent?
Maybe so. Yeah, some. Yeah, now we'll maybe some news on that, but it sounds like there's some other big time schools in the mix. So Boise State did have a recruit on campus, but we got plenty to talk about. I'm going to be curious on the basketball schedule, by the way. How aggressively do they schedule that A&M game, the St. Louis game? They had some games that kind of helped them get into the tournament. So we'll have plenty to talk about all summer. But Prater, appreciate it as always. Thanks a lot, and we will talk to you, I guess, next Thursday.
See you guys. Thank you.
There he is, Mike Prater. We appreciate him for coming on. Colin Mitchell's going to take the mic here as we kind of wrap up the show. But had a lot of fun. And again, I apologize for the camera going out on us today. But we're making it work today. So, Colin, great job as always on the fly, making it work. What was your take on the spring game today?
A lot of good things. I thought the offense looked great. I didn't think the defense looked as good, and part of that could have been into the offense. But whether it was the offense being better or the defense struggling, I thought there was a lot of good things to say, and I think the name of the hour has been Prince Strawn, right?
And you were on the field getting the highlights. So how did he look?
He looked good, and he you could tell in warm-ups he looked like visibly different than everyone else in a way, just because we hadn't seen him before. And I mean, Prince is a guy who he had one Division I offer, and it was from Boise State, and that was in December of 2021. So we didn't hear his name for a long time. He took that gray shirt. He didn't start playing football until his sophomore year of high school when he moved to Florida. Just very impressive, that raw talent, what he can already do and what he can do in the future as well.
You were doing some recruiting stuff when he had signed, and I forget, did we actually talk to him?
We didn't, no.
We weren't sure what his situation was going to be, and we couldn't make it work. And we got some recruits, by the way. I think maybe
Jackson Greer, and not sure who the other one
is.
Oh,
there we go. We're dropping some knowledge. Even the recruits want to come hang out in the background of the BNN show here. But anything else that stood out to you from the field from the spring game today?
I thought some of the transfers looked good. It was Kevon Wright had a nice tackle in the backfield, and then also Tyler Wiegis from Utah. I don't know. I know he had one tackle, but he just looked very good, and you could tell he had that Power 5 build coming from Utah. And I'm curious to see what he does this year. But overall, I think there are some good signs on the defense when combined with those healthy players that will be on the field.
A couple people are asking. I wasn't planning to do it today, but we might as well because I kind of it's your call if you'd rather do it today. But you are leaving Bronco Nation News at the end of the month. I will say publicly that Bronco Nation News would not be where it was without you. You have some other stuff in the works. We'll wait to announce your next move. We'll let you do that here in the future. But you came on last year as an intern. You were still a student. It was just happenstance that we met you. Met your dad at the Denver airport. Our flight was delayed a couple hours. Me and Will Hall might have been enjoying a beverage in the bar, and ended up talking to your dad. And after the Colorado State game, one thing led to another. You came on and did an outstanding job for someone that's starting his own business, trying to get this thing off the ground. I would be nowhere at all where I am without you. So publicly, thank you, first of all,
Thank
for
you,
everything that
BJ.
you've done. Obviously, he's leaving, so he didn't think much of me as a boss. People are already saying that stings. Colin hitting the transfer portal. It all started with Golly Guy and Colin. But no, you're out of college now. We had you at a discount. You did it. You were living at home for a little while. We were able to hang on to you through basketball season, through the spring game. But you're now, you have a degree. You have to start. We're breaking the news here, Ken, on the air that Colin's leaving. And I know it's an emotional time. All the comments and everything here are sad to see Colin. They'd rather have Colin stay than me. But you are looking for you got some things in the works, and obviously you're looking for a full-time gig. But hopefully Bronco Nation News helped you get to that point. And I did want to say publicly thank you. And I know all the fans are obviously sad you're going to be leaving us here in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, no, it's been a great run to see this company grow, and it wasn't necessarily a departure of hating BNN and not liking working here. I loved working here. It was always will be grateful for you taking a shot on me as well. So it's been great, and yeah, no, I can't wait to formally announce my next chapter in the future. But
we'll keep that quiet for now.
Yeah.
Folks are saying get Colin the NIL deal. Hey, if you want to step up and give us enough money and enough subscriptions where I can make him an offer he can't refuse, then make it happen. But no, I appreciate Ken too. Your dad Ken's been a good friend, and I'm hoping we can all still golf and hang out and have a good time. And it's been fun. We drove up last year to the Washington State game together. I guess we drove down to the Utah State game this year, and so I kind of consider you guys family. So, Ken, I appreciate you, and anything I can do moving forward, we certainly want to. Everyone says you're KTVB bound. You would certainly take that. You would.
I will accept the offer, but I'm likely leaving Boise. I will say that.
Yeah, Ken would like to have his TV back and his spare bedroom back. So he's trying to get. He'd like to have a little more. Get Colin out of here. But no, seriously, it is a sad day actually because we've had a great run with you. We got a couple weeks. We're going to finish strong, and it was tough when you gave me the news because you've done a lot and probably even took advantage of you at times, man. You've worked your ass off, and we appreciate it. We'll finish strong. We'll be following you here moving forward. You may see him at the golf tournament.
Yeah, hopefully.
If he hasn't left town yet, we're gonna pay him to come work at the golf tournament so we can at least see everybody out there. And we'll see moving forward what's going on. But just did want to say publicly thank you.
Thank you.
You've done a great job, man. And we'll finish strong with the last couple weeks here. And then some new news on a new intern or part-time employment, or who knows, maybe even full-time employment. We'll see as we continue to build BNN here moving forward. So that'll do it for the post-game show. Thanks to Lithia, Florida, Boise. Thanks to Idaho Central Credit Union, rowpaint.com. He's got a couple weeks left. If you're a subscriber, you'll still be getting his emails. He's not leaving us yet. And we're rooting for him, though, man, because he's got a big, bright future ahead in the sports media industry. So looking forward to seeing where the next step is. But he'll still be kicking my ass on the golf course plenty of times here moving forward. So have a great evening, everybody. We appreciate it. Make it out to the James next time you can. This is an awesome spot. Looking forward to it. And I think that's a great final comment. Colin Smile, going to miss that, Big Wade says. So we appreciate it. And, again, appreciate Ken and the whole Mitchell family. And we'll be back Monday. Johnny will be back Monday morning. We'll keep the morning shows going about 9 a.m. Moving forward on the morning shows. We got some other stuff in the works, but last post-game show for a while. But we'll still have the daily shows. We'll start our off-season storylines and questions and players to watch and all kinds of stuff. So we'll have full coverage continuing all off-season. We'll get Andy Avalos up on the YouTube channel if you came in late and missed that. But have a great rest of your evening. Again, for Colin Mitchell, my name is BJ Rains. We thank Prater and Johnny for stopping by as well. Have a great Saturday night. We'll talk to you Monday morning, 9 a.m. with John Mallory. Bronco Nation News, bronconationnews.com.